Black Death, one of the deadliest diseases known to human history, soon came up in Europe between 1348 and 1350. It is strongly believed that the bubonic plague was caused by the bacterium Yersinia pestis. This disease is to have started in Central Asia by 1346. The disease was then carried by fleas which got it from rats that were usually traveling on merchant ships, which helped aid in the spread of the disease. It soon spread throughout the Mediterranean and eventually to Europe. The Black Plague is estimated to have killed 30 to 60% of Europe's populace, which means that it reduced the world's population from an estimated 450 million people to about 360 million in the 1400s. It could also spread to others by touch, which aided in the spread of the infection. Treatments for the Black Plague were various combinations of herbs that might help ease the pain, but there were only pain relievers, but there wasn't any cure. It took 150 years for Europe's population to recover from the plague until it finally left Europe in the 19th century.
Yersinia pestis can be spread by fleas, which are primarily made of high mobile small animal populations, a variable quantity that can be resolved into components. It starts with a headache, then chills and fevers, which left them exhausted and prostrate. Maybe the experience caused vomiting by pain sores in his arms and legs.
From 1899 to the early 1900s, Hawaii suffered from a small bubonic plague outbreak. They immediately placed the Chinatown district of Hawaii under military quarantine and closed all ports from letting ships come in. The Board of Health took control of all leaving vessels to disinfect them and prevent rats from going on board. The plague lasted on the islands for over 20 years until more forms of disinfecting came to help the prevention of spreading. The spread of the plague was caused by the rats coming in from ships that transported trade from China. Over 400 cases of plague were recorded in Hawaii, and 90% of the cases were fatal. To also stop the spreading of the plague, the Board of Health set fire to the buildings that held the infected. Most fires grew out of control and destroyed most of the towns. For over 600 years, the bubonic plague ravaged through many countries and continents.
Cases of the bubonic plague in the United States can be found as early as the beginning of the 20th century. The first reported case took place in San Francisco on March 6, 1900. The body of a Chinese worker was found in the basement of the Globe Hotel and was transferred to an undertaker. An autopsy revealed large inguinal nodes, parts of the body that are usually only infected due to cancer, but in this case were suggestive of plague, and the city physician notifying the city health officer and bacteriologist of this finding. Soon after this, 2 more bodies were found in Chinatown. The newspapers, which had therefore refused to print the news, could no longer ignore it. Soon the nation knew that plague existed in California. In the last 25 years, states who have reported cases of the bubonic plague include California, Oregon, Washington, New Mexico, Arizona, Nevada, Utah, Colorado, Texas, Idaho, Montana, and Wyoming. Most cases were caused by transmission from an infected pet. Domestic animals such as cats, dogs have been known to become infested through the bite of an infected flea or by eating an infected animal. Ways of preventing spread of the plague is to handle suspected animals with gloves, gowns, and surgical masks. The animal is then kept in isolation. If a person or animal is suspected of being exposed to plague, they are generally treated with tetracycline or doxycycline, both antibiotics. Rodent and flea control are the main components in the plague prevention program. Dogs and cats should be restricted from animal burrows and from eating any carcasses of dead rabbits or rodents. A human vaccine against Yersinia pestis is available.